Okay. So first of all, before we start, also I'm talking to the women. Let me know a bit about the Pesach time. How was Pesach? How was our the Hagim? How did you feel? Did you have time to set and to go through the element we studied, or was it hard? Please feel free. Let me know a bit about that.
Can I talk?
Yeah, of course. Shalom, shalom, Rabbi Chalba.
Well, Rav, very good. And at the same time, I have a question.
Yes.
If I wanted, if I had to do my shamura, if you
Mm-hmm.
can say, or the matzo, it wasn't shamura flour, but it was my shamura. But I didn't have orange juice. Was it okay if I used grape juice instead?
So,
For that Friday, just for the Friday, just for the Friday. I mean,
yeah,
for Shabbat, for just for Shabbat in the morning and at
yeah.
night.
So, okay. So first of all, I will explain the configuration of your question.
Mhm.
Basically, for the for everybody who are keeping rabbinical Judaism, Pesach was starting at the exit of Shabbat, meaning
Yes. Mhm.
have that. So the question is, how do you manage with the bread? Why? Because it's not Pesach yet, and you have to do your Shabbat, to perform Shabbat with wine and bread. And we all know that we have a limitation time about being allowed to eat chametz, which was this year around, let's say, 11:30 a.m. So the question is, in the morning, for sure, everybody had the time to make Shabbat properly by having bread and wine on the table before 11:30. But some people, because you have already nullified the chametz before Shabbat, they have concerns about keeping some chametz in the house. So based on that, some sages, we, for example, Nusar Afriki, we have no problem telling people, look, you have to keep the bread because this is the only way to show kavod, respect and honor to the Shabbat. So what you have to do is to eat in one corner of the house, at least the morning meal. And once you have finished, you just pack and throw the 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 plates which were hammered. But some people, because they are afraid of that, some rabbis decided to make another psak halacha, telling people, okay, you can eat some matzot, but not real matzot, matzot that you will prepare mixed with orange juice. So Rabbi Shalva is asking if my matzot I made were with grape juice, is it also okay? So according to the rabbis who have made that statement, it's okay. All the purpose is to put among the ingredients of the matzot some liquids that will nullify the aspect of real matzot, and it's okay. So why do we don't rule like that? Because all the mindset of Pesach for us is not to taste the matzot before the fast. festival. Even not a type of method, even not a shape of method, we don't bring that taste at all in our mouth. Even if we can say, okay, it will orange juice, it's not the same. So we don't do like that, but the people does like that. Yes, you can put orange juice, you can put grape juice, you can put what you want. The purpose is just to change the composition, the content of the method. So yes, the grape juice was okay. I think, Michelle, your mic is off. You have to put it on if you want to react.
Thank you, Chief Rabbi.
You're welcome. How was your patient? Do you have another question? Is there any other question or any other reaction about Pesach?
I have another one, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, you remember when you taught us about hiding Fikomen, and I did this. I named each 10 pieces with the Sephirot's name. Just didn't. And one of them, it took so long to find that my husband was going to give up. And you
Mm,
say that it was very significant, that
mm,
search. What happened if you can answer, if my last piece that we couldn't find was Bina?
mhm. First of all, thank you for that element also. Of course, the purpose of that research is to do what we call bitul chametz. But the bitul chametz, let's say it's to do biyur chametz. What is biyur chametz? Is to burn the yeast. But the burning of the yeast happens in two levels. The first one, the night before Pesach, you have to search with the light of the candle the last pieces of chametz in your house. And the way you will make that research is like it's not to say I know that I have yeast at my house. The purpose is to say, look, I want to use the candle which symbolize your own soul and that house or that rooms which symbolize the different parts of your brains, basically. And I want to be sure that even in the invisible world, meaning in the spiritual world, I remove any type of yeast. So when you do it with intentions, you will see that every single portion of yeast that you hide in the house will come with a lot of significations. So if you have problem to find some of them, especially Bina, this is to tell you, look, try during that moment of Bdikat Hametz and that moment of Biyu Hametz, try to work on that dimension of what we call intelligence, what we call Ima, what we call reason, because Ima is divided in two levels. The top level is intelligence. The lower level is reason. To have intelligence without reason, it's bad. To have reason without intelligence, it's bad also. You have to connect both of them, the two parts, the head and the bottom. So this means that This will be the principal challenge this year for that house. So all the people who live in that house, they have to know that, okay, this year we have to be very strong about reason. Do you understand what reason mean, Rabani Chalva?
No, sir. If you can help me, I will appreciate.
Okay, let me share with you a good definition. Share my screen. There it is. Say like this. Reason, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. It's a reason is the capacity of conscientiously applying logic by drawing a valid conclusion from new or existing information with the aim of seeking the truth. The words are very precise here and very meaningful. It is associated with such characteristically human activities as philosophy, religion, science, language, mathematics, and arts, and is normally considered to be a distinguishing ability possessed by human. Reason is sometimes referred to as rationality, where I will insist it here. Drawing valid conclusions from new or existing information or experience with the aim of seeking the truth. This is what we call reason and intelligence. If you want to have the definition of what is intelligence, because sometimes we use words, but each one of us possesses own imaginations. Here is what we can say about intelligence. See, let me know when you see my screen.
I do.
Okay. It said intelligence has been defined in many ways like this. The capacity of abstraction, logic, understanding, self-awareness, learning, emotional knowledge, reasoning, planning, creativity, critical thinking, and problem solving. It can be described as the ability to perceive or infer information and to retain it as knowledge, to be applied to adaptive behavior within an environment or context. The key words here is to perceive informations in order to apply them to adapt yourself, your behavior in the environment. So this is what is connected to what we call IMA, BINA. Is it more or less clear, Abani Chalva?
It will help if you give me an example.
Very simple. Let's take a couple. A couple have problem of money. Problem of money, and the question is, how do we solve? How do we react? What should we do? And some people can say, okay, look, I think my husband, you should study less and work more. The example is enough clear?
No.
So I'll go again. You have more, not the reality, it's an example. You have problem of finance at home. You have to find solution, right?
Yes.
So the question is, what type of solution you put on the table?
Oh, okay, I got it now.
One of them can be, okay, my husband, you have to work more and to go less at the Bet Knesset or to go less at the Bet Midrash.
Yes.
You get it? So my question
Yes.
is it reasonable or intelligent according to the Torah? Man, I'm not saying that it is to find the answer, because
Hmm.
sometimes the answer can be dynamic according to the truth of each one. If the husband say, no, I don't want to go and work more, I believe in the salvation of Hashem. But at the same time, when he's in the Bet Knesset or in the Bet Midrash, he's spending his time drinking coffee.
Hmm.
He's not sweating on the books. He's not bringing Chidushim. So it's better for you maybe to go to work. I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm just telling
Okay.
you type of example. Or you have some
Mhm.
problem with children who are not listening to the parents. You have some problem with the heritage in family. You have some problem of behavior between husband and wife. Some problem of communication. You have some problem of knowing what to do with the neighbors. Opening up, closing up, all these situations will demand a lot of intelligence when you will be facing them. Not acting because it was said to act like that. No, you have to understand what is your environment and how you will adapt your behavior according to that experience and how you will keep it to be very reasonable face to the knowledge you will acquire with the experience.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there another question before we start?
So far, so good. Baruch Hashem.
אתה אביזורה, תודה רבה. I don't understand CSWV.
Ouais, ça, c'est l'email, ancien
Ah,
email, ça, voilà.
Bezrat Hashem. So let's start a bit and study a bit about the new chapter of women's class. It will not be long because we just have two women here. So feel free. If you have any question, feel free because the less you are, the best it is. But this is also to show you something. You know, sometime when we were starting the chat in the women's group, and especially in the English department, the women's were very fired. Oh, let's do that. Let's do that. If I don't know if Rabbi Shaba can remember. And I was saying
Yes.
slowly, slowly, because the fire, we know how it's happened when it's too hot at the beginning. It will very fast be, let's say, uh, not removed, but it go down. And we try to handle people and to say, no, go slowly, acquire because the level where we study is very high. And not everybody can follow. And we know that some people will struggle to say, yes, I have the level, but we have the experience. And we know that not everybody can handle it. That's why you see, I always say we do things slowly, slowly. The purpose is not to be popular. The purpose is not to say things that will be please your art. The purpose to do what should be done according to the truth of Torah, the Emet Torah. And like you can see now, slowly, 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 I almost see the women's group is not active at all. Personally, I have no problem. Why? Because we have many works. We are doing a lot with many women in other countries, and this group was especially talking to Americans and English speakers, but most of the women who are in Nigeria, and some they are in other groups. So the purpose is to see for you here like an example, like a teaching. When something is for you, only time will let you know if it is for you. It's not the instinct or your desire that you have that will bring you to decide to stay or to continue. No. To everybody, always feel free. Once something become very heavy or too hard for you, don't be ashamed to give up. It's normal. I always say that from the beginning. What we are teaching is not for everybody. First of all, we are targeting Bantu Israelites, meaning even if you are in America, you have to have that knowledge that, okay, I'm connected also to my brothers from the other side. If you only think in that circle of American and it's enough, it will work, but only on one leg. The level where we study, people are always to connect. When they are in Africa, that we have brothers in America. When they are in America, that we have brothers in Africa. And only when your mind is doing that back and forth, when I say America also had West Indies, Haiti, and so on. When your mind is working like that, you will see that you will have the strength to continue and to go deeper because you will know that in the limudim, in the study, you will be able to receive from the women in Nigeria, in South Africa, in Namibia, in Kenya, who have another type of experience regarding family, regarding different type of things. And same thing also, the African women can say, okay, I can learn from the African American women who have another type of struggle, who succeed in many things. So if people don't come with that mindset of Bantu Israelite, you will see it very fast that they will not hold the position. So Bezat Hashem, we will see what we'll go do, what we'll do next. The purpose for me is to teach women, not to teach men who came to have more information. And thanks to all the rabbis here, because they will learn more, they will get more for their work and for their teachings. But we see now, if I compare, for example, the French women's group and the English speakers women group, it's even not comparable. The French women group, we are working fast. We are going higher and deeper. And things are very slowly. Why? Because we even not give limudim teachings. We just go 45 minutes, 1 hour, small question, and that was enough for them to build and build more. But in the English speaker group, people ask for the tank, for the big things. We gave big. And you see now everybody is almost KO. I have no problem for that because no matter what is the KO, most important for me was that that KO was made with the truth of Torah. It can be hard to swallow, but truth is truth. After we can know, can see how to adapt it. So it was just my small introduction. So based on that, is there any remark?
Chief Rabbi, maybe it's being very intense, Pesach, and it's just a week after, 2 weeks after. Give them chance. Give us more chance.
Because you have the heart of a mom, and I'm just I'm Shlomo Rabbi Yochanan. I'm just seeing a dynamic for even weeks before Pesach. I'm seeing how things are going, how things are going. I'm seeing the dynamic, and when basically I express something, it's because for 2 months I'm already checking, seeing what is meaningful. So Bezrat Hashem, we we will see what should be made or done in which proportion. Thank you, Ahmed Shalva. So the question today, it's about tsniut. Tsniut, it's about the way women should be dressed properly. What does it mean that we have so many differences between the one who said, okay, women should be totally covered, no pants, and she should be dressed in a certain way, nothing too close from the body, very large clothing, and you have somehow, somewhere, other type of Jews considering that, okay, it's not because I'm wearing pants that I'm not a Jew. Can we hear that? Can we not hear that? Or in some way, you have also people telling you, look, if you go or live in that neighborhood, you should be dressed in a certain way. And after that, you have many people telling you, when we go back then in Morocco, in Algeria, in Tunisia, even the wives of rabbis were dressed like the women of the country. And the Gemaras will say if the women of the country are naturally dressed with pants, so wearing pants will not be a problem because you will be dressed like the major women of the country. So you have a lot of position. The question for us is to know what will be the position of the Chief Rabbinate of Africa and the Nusar Afriki. Are we giving importance to the thickness of your, how do you call it in English? Uh, it's tights. You know what women put on the legs, when you're religious. I think if it's not the right word, please let me know. When the
Je crois que c'est le legging.
legging,
Yeah.
it's legging. Okay. To understand what should be the thickness of the legging. Should it be very, very dark till we will not be able to see the skin, or all these things? How do we see and understand all these things? So the Ben Ish Chai basically in the link I sent to you before 1 week is saying, look, that question of tsniut is very delicate because when you talk about tsniut with women, tsniut being the way to be dressed, and not only the way to be dressed, but also the way to behave with modesty. This is always a topic that creates a lot of misunderstanding because in a way, women will think that men are using a kind of power in order to dominate and to manifest their strength, and that they don't give any freedom to women. And in another way, you have also to face modernity, where now you have to consider what is the woman's position in the society. So the Ben Ish Chai will say, look, women, don't think that my words are here to hurt you. The purpose of my word is to give to you a key for a very big success. The question is, what are that keys and what are that successes? What's happened today is when we have to define what is modesty, many of the movement I've quoted, they will put modesty, they will be very strong by incarnating that modesty with the clothing, with the way you will be dressed. And of course, we will talk about the novelty of your behavior, the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you interact with people, but they will not be so hard. So this will bring you to see people sometime dress with a total modesty according to the codes of the laws, according to the codes of halakha, and you will see other people, the same people, being very vulgar in their behavior. Shalom, shalom, Ima Hadassah. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom to you, Rabbi.
Shalom, shalom. You see all people being very vulgar with their behavior. You will see totally dressed with modesty according to the codes of halakha, of the law. And the other side, you see the way she's talking, the way she's interacting with people. You see, wow, what is that? Where is the novelty that I'm seeing on your clothes? Where is it in your soul? And this is this point to tell us that the modesty, the tsniut, have to stand on two legs. The legs of physicality and the legs of spirituality. In physicality, more or less, people are able to say a lot of things. You find always new details and details and details and details and details, and it can be infinite. That's why, for example, if you go to Jerusalem, Shalom Shalom Habanit Funeka, and if you go to Jerusalem, if you see some neighborhoods not far from Yasharim, you have women wearing a whole veil. You're not being able to sing them face at all. And at the same time, you can go in other places, women with pants, with shirt that will not be fitting in the codes of halakha. At the same time, you will see their behavior full of nobility, very polite, very discreet, but the dressing codes are not connected to that definition of modesty. And all this happen and lives together, so we are lost. Shalom, shalom, Rabbanit. Someone enter, maybe not enter yet. So all this being mixed up, we don't know how to do. We don't know where should be the definition, what should be the limit, where things should be starting. So what are the connection, the understanding and the application for the Nusra Afriki, the Chief Rabbinate of Africa? We have to start from a point very, very important. In all the cultures, at the moment of the wedding, you will see the husband going, and if they have a tradition of veil, we'll see the future husband unveiling, revealing the face of the woman. So you go, she comes under the chuppah or under the place of the wedding with a veil, and the husband is already veiled, and the husband will go and will remove that veil. Is it right? This is what we see generally. Am I wrong?
כן, כן.
Yes, this is what we usually say.
תודה רבה. But now, in the Torah, it's opposite. When the wedding is happening, we have what we call the kisei kala. The kisei kala is a place where the future wife, she's sitting with family and friends, and everybody comes to say congratulations, mazel tov, and so on. And it's a very important moment because she's like the queen of the ceremony, and she's sitting, and everybody comes. And before we start the ceremony, and just after, the ketubah will be totally signed by the both parts after the discussion, negotiations. Before we bring the couple under the chuppah, what is the real tradition, the real minhag, is that the husband, the future husband, will go followed by the two witnesses of the wedding, will go toward the future wife while she's sitting on the kisikala and will veil her. You see the difference? The other culture, you have to unveil before you start the ceremony. We, al pi Torah, according to the Masoret of our Torah, the husband have to put that veil. And the Rabbah, Rabbanit, Hadassah. And after that moment, the witness, before that, we give some advice to the future husband. We say, before you put that veil on her, say something very personal between you and her that only you have shared last week. Say it in that here and make it personal and after put that veil. So when he does that, we, the witness, let's say, we have to say a bracha, not a bracha, we have to say a formula. We say, Achotenu at ti'i li alfe revavot. What does it mean? These are the words that Lavan said to Rivka when she was about to leave for Eretz Canaan and to marry Yitzhak. So what Lavan said, he said, our sister, you will be among the thousands of thousands. It's a big secret, but this is the minhag. So what's happened? In our tradition, in our Torah, what is precious is veiled. The question is how and why, we will see it in a few minutes. But keep in mind, we consider that revealing something is somewhere, somehow, something showing that I'm not giving consideration to that area of my body or to that area of my house or to that area of anything. So this is the point that we have to start with. In Torah, not only women's are veiled, also men's. Look, Shashab Yahushua. Look about
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Look about Aaron. He was told to put trousers under the the Kohen tunic to avoid that the stones will see his nakedness. Shalom, shalom. Rabbi Ekachuku. Look about Moshe. Once he achieved the level of
Shalom, shalom.
shalom, shalom, of seeing that Chosher, it will be impossible for him to see the crowd, the people, the Ham Israel face to face. So he was putting a veil. Because that light that he saw by being all this time face to face with God, receiving the first Luchot and then the second Luchot, made him so precious. So we have a concept of understanding that everything which is precious have to be covered. That's why you see us. We are covered. See? For me, it's almost impossible. I reveal that part of my body. I cannot. Why? Because you will see in a few minutes what is behind. Same thing for my neck. Same thing for the top of my head. Same thing for my legs. Halacha is telling you cannot pray wearing shorts or anything which will reveal your legs. We have what we call the modesty of your dress when you are praying. So this is just to introduce the matter. We will try to answer to all that questions. And for now it will be done. But before I start, is there any question or any point you want to react now? Yes, Rabbi Imadasa. Your mic is
Shalom. I
shalom.
always find it interesting the contrast, as you mentioned, between the practice of veiling the bride rather than unveiling the bride. So for me, it seems to signify the idea of kadosh, or kadesh, making her sanctified, making her consecrated. setting her apart to him. So this veiling is making her now something that is sacred and a mystery, even. The idea of her being a mystery to be known only by him and not the rest of the world, it seems. And I think there's something very beautiful about that. And there's novelty in the nobility of that, in contrast to the other nations who seem to unveil the bride and share her with the world. You know, he's saying, this is mine. This is something now that is sacred to me, for me to uncover and unravel her inner mysteries, not the rest of the world. So um, it's just something that's always so endearing when I think about it. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. תודה רבה, רבנית Elazar, for your point. This is the way, for example, that the Ben Ish Chai express the importance of that message by saying to the women, don't think that my words are here to hurt you, because when you read that part in the book Chokei Nashim, if you don't have the tools that will show to you now, you can say the Ben Ish Chai is the bad person, just wants to bring women down and to break their position in the society. And the purpose of this limit is to explain what was in the knowledge of the Ben Ish Chai, to be able to say to women, you know, even when you are at home, be careful about that modesty. Be careful about what you are showing to your kids. Be careful about what you are showing even to your clients if you work from your house. If, for example, you sell books or you sell any type of clothing and you sell from your house, say, don't think that because people come in your house that you have to feel comfortable in your house. When they enter your house and they are not from your close family, apply straight the rules of modesty. And we have that mindset also in Africa. You know, we have been dressed, we have been taught, we have been educated. Even be careful not to see the belly of your father. Be careful not to see some parts of your mother's body, because that lights are not proper for your eyes. The question is why and how? Why, if, for example, if I work, we talk about behavior, for example. We said, look, when you will be working, we said, look, there is tsniut, modesty. Of course, that modesty, it's about the clothing. Of course, that modesty is about the behavior. But that modesty, it's also about you respecting the rules. For example, don't be alone with a man who is not your husband while you are working. Keep the door open, or at least put a door with a glass that anybody can see what's happening inside. This is called yichud. This is called intimacy. So you have to be careful about all that rules. So we will see now, the question is, why all this craziness about the modesty? Yes, Rabbanit Imadasa.
I was thinking along this same idea that, just as you explained, even in the home, you know, we as a culture, even here in the United States, among African Americans, you know, it's a thing about, you know, you don't let anybody in your home. You don't let, especially in your bedroom, and kind of this idea of protecting what is sacred. Again, even when it comes to the home, you don't let anybody look around your home. And I think even unconsciously as a people, we understand the idea of that invasion of sacred space, personal space, inviting things like ayn hara and lashon hara, people looking around your things that could invite covetousness or envy or jealousy, or even just the questioning, not understanding certain things that you do, that is sacred to you in privacy, because they don't understand, that could invite impure thoughts or assumptions even. And so I think ultimately we're talking about the idea of keeping private what is precious to you and protecting what is powerful. Things of real power, things of real value are the things that are hidden, the things that are concealed. And that also speaks to the idea of the power of restraint, holding back something, even holding back not even just the power of a thing, but for the source of that power to be seen. So that restraint in the concealment is what actually delineates the idea that this thing of value is a source of power. And a woman to a man is certainly valuable and certainly powerful, especially when we consider the spiritual power of a woman. So those were some of my thoughts I wanted to add as well.
Because we know, for example, like we said, the concept of modesty or tsniut is touching many areas that we can divide in invisible, let's say spiritual, and on the other side, physical. We know, for example, well, all the people who love to hire, maids to clean the house. Be careful not to let the maids enter the private room of the parents. We have learned from the story of Yaakov and Reuven, who for different reasons decided to bring the bed of his mom in the principal tent of Yaakov. And the sages will say that this behavior causes the loss of two souls that were supposed to be born under the lineage of Yaakov. Why? Because we said that the souls of the baby who have to be born are always standing on the head of the bed. Any foreigner who entered that room will cause the loss of that soul. That's why Yaakov was so angry against Reuven. And this caused him to see Menashe and Ephraim not to be born with his, let's say, his power. They will be born under Yosef. That's why at the end of Bereshit, Parashat Vayechi, Yaakov will say to Yosef, look, the kids that you will have after will be yours. But your two sons that I'm seeing here, they are not yours, they are mine. They were supposed to be mine. That's why they will be among the one who will inherit the land. And Yosef knew about it. So Ramban will come and say, yes, we know that Yosef had other kids. Give you a secret, he had 12 kids. But the two first were not his. They were the kids of Yaakov. Why? Just because the firstborn of Yaakov entered the private room of his father. So if so, for the son of a tzaddik who was a tzaddik himself, what will be the consequences for that maid you hired who entered your room and you want your room to be clean, but you are too lazy to make your own bed and you let a foreigner enter your private room? All these things are very important. So the question now, let's see what is behind that. So we're going to use one book. I will jump a few sentences. Shach Alikutim, Ari al-Kadosh. Sefer HaMelachim, the Book of Kings. We're going to talk about the last days of the King David. And the secret will be there about the tsniut. So he said it's like this. We talk about the days of David being old and he was cold. He was cold and his advisor will tell, let's find a, a virgin lady who's gonna be sitting nearby you and she will help you to remove that coldness that you are feeling. So let's see the secret behind that. וזה ואומנם באלו הפסוקים יש לשאול על שינוי הנמצא בין ביאת הימים של אברהם לדוד המלך. כי שם היה זקן ושבעה ימים ושבעה ימים בין קע"ה שנה, ודוד בן עין שנה בלבד. So he said, we have to compare the two situations, the one from Abraham and the one from David. Why? Because when you read the death of Abraham, you read in the Haftarot, the story of David, his death also. So I said, the question is, why did the sage connect these two moments? There's no connection. Abraham is called the old man, being age of 170, but David was only 70. So what the connection? Who can be old and can be called old in that situation? זה כי שם היה זקן ושבעה, אוקיי. And it said, ועוד אברהם נתברר בכל, ודוד ויחסו בגדים. So also there's a big difference. Abraham was blessed in everything. But David, we had to cover him with clothes. ולא יחמלו, and he wasn't hot at all, he was always cold. So what's the connection? Why do you connect these two things? He said, ועוד להבין מה הם אלו הבגדים והכיסויה. And it said, הרי הקדוש, we have to understand, what are these clothes? And what are that veils, that coverings that we had to put on David? Now see the secret and the greatness of our Torah. ולמה לא יחמלו? We have to understand also why he was always cold. וכי הוא חסר בבגדים כדי שיחסותו כדי לחמו. So what the purpose? David, a king, will be missing clothes or clothing that will help him to be hot? You're the king. What do you miss? What kind of things you cannot have? The kingdoms is yours. All the best fabric of the world, you can have them. So what is the mindset of the Torah telling us? We need to put cloth on him in order to help him to feel that heat. ועוד, להבין תקנת עבדיו, להבין לו נער הבתולה, and also to understand what are that advice of his work, of his servants, to bring a virgin young lady, כדי שיתחממהו, in order to help him to feel hot. כי חסר היה נערות או נשים. They say what? A king will miss the possibility of find a woman or a wife. So your advice is to do something that is so easy to acquire for the king, let's say. And also, שביקשו בכל גבול ישראל וימצאו את אבישג, and say they will see everywhere and we found only one, the woman called Avishag, a Shunammite, שדרה מציאת מצווה. Said, what is the secret of all that? Very simple. I will jump a bit. I'll jump. All these details, I'll invite you to read this text. There's a lot to learn. But here is our topic. He said, Omnam העניין, but here's the topic. על דרך האמר ויאמר על דרך מה שכתוב בזוהר. I said we have to open the book of the Zohar to understand שעשיית כל הימים כולם של צדיקים מלבוש לנשמה כדי להתלבש בה. He said like this. After you're a righteous person, you're a tzaddik, tzaddiket. Every single day of your life, you are building spiritual clothing for your soul in order to help your soul to be covered. So there was a secret, first of all, about not only you being a tzaddik and being dressed in the physicality like this, you have also to know that your soul also need clothes. And that clothes are based on some type of actions. And he said, Ki en lavo el sharamina velevushak. He said, why? Because it's written in the Megillat Esther. You cannot go in front of the gates of the king with clothes of mourning, levush sak. Meaning, it's not every type of action that create proper clothes that can help your soul to go in front of the gates of the king. At least every night. When you sleep, you goes up. Your soul have to be properly dressed with that specific modesty. So it's like this. Ki im bechaluka de rabanan. Boom. He said, look, you have to know that tsniut concerns the two dimensions of your life, the spiritual one and the physical one. The physicality we will see in 5 minutes. But at the level of spiritual, the only dressed, the only type of fabric, the only type of clothing that are accepted when you use your soul as a chariot to go here and there, to go down and up, no matter what, the only clothing that are accepted and what are considered as representing modesty, it's what we call Chaluka de Rabanan. What is the coats of the masters? Bad translation, but I need to translate. Chaluka de Rabanan. By the way, keep in mind what we saw last week in the limud of Parashat Shmini. Who are the Rabbanan? They are the tribal chief. You remember?
Yes, Chief Rabbi.
Yes.
Very well, very well, very well, Haram.
Toda Rabba. And he said, this is the code name of your spiritual clothing. Meaning, it's just a bracket. I didn't say it in the French limud. If you are not connected to your tradition, that tradition being the representative of peace, connecting truth and justice, you cannot be dressed at all. Your soul is not dressed. So when we say to people, you have to go back to your tradition. Your tradition doesn't mean that you will go far away from the Torah. It's the opposite. Because real tradition, it's mitzvot which have been empowered in order to protect the Torah. That's why I said that clothing are called Chaluka de Rabanan. Lechazot Benoam Hashem. It said that clothing, they are very, very pleased in front of Hashem. So I give you a secret. When you say Chaluka de Rabanan, you will see it here. Let me show it to you. Right in the same book.
Chief Rabbi. Can you repeat or explain again what's Rabuka de Rabanam?
I will explain it now.
Thank you.
Again. See, Shmuel. Okay, one second. Absolutely. Okay. So the question is, what is that Me'il Katon? What we call the Chalukah de Rabbanan. Let's see. What is that Chalukah de Rabbanan? The codes of the masters. Look. So look what is Akadosh is saying in the book Shar HaPesukim. Let me know if you see my screen. It says there's a verse in Shmuel, the first book of Shmuel, that it's written, U meil katon ta'aselo imo. Basically, make for him a small coat. You know that verse, right? You know that verse?
Yes, yes.
תודה רבה. So look what he said. He said, look, what is that small coat that we talk about here? He said, עניין זה, כי יש עג'ה, כי יש ויש להם נשמה במוחין לבחינת איפור שהם אלוקים, ואחר כך יניקה, והם מוחין לגדלות ומימה, וכל זה, אחר כך גדולים, בעתיק יומין, אוקיי. כקצורו של דבר, בעולם עשייה, שבו הצילם, נשמע, והנה, משה, one second, דיבור שם מן הקטנות, שם דלת מן התורה, והנה ניתנה לבאות, בקטנות, ואומנם מצד המוחין, it's a big topic. You have to see it now. What is the word? So I said, that small quote, 1 second, it's here. Okay. Okay, I got it. See here, that small quote that was made for Shmuel, the young Shmuel. You see, here it's explaining to you, it's the verse we were reading, you know. Made katon, small quote. If you go here, it said that male katon, we call it קוראים אותו בשם חלוקה דרבנן, כנודע, like it's known. So what is חלוקה דרבנן? He said, this is the secret of מיל קטן תעשו לאמו, והוא מה שאמרו חז"ל, קוראים אותו חלוקה דרבנן, and it's here, it's what is that? The מיל קטן, the small quote that was made for Shmuel, תעשו לאמו, והנה הוא בבחינת קטון בין שתי שניים, היה חכם גדול. So Shmuel was 2 years old and he was already wise. Al pasuk we say, okay, after said, כי אורו הלכה לפני אליה הכהן, because he was able to make the halacha very clear in the front of this master. מה שלא היה יודע עלי עצמו, בזה תבין חוכמתו, וכזה היה לו מוחין דקטנות דיניקה. So I repeat now, listen well. What is that small quote? What is the tsniut of your soul? What is what we call meil katon, or chaluka de rabanan? He said it's mochin de katnut of yenika. I make it very simple. It's whole the dimension of being very strict with yourself when it comes about modesty. You know, some people, they are very large. Some people, they are very strict. And sometimes where you are large, other people are strict. And when you are strict, other people are large. It's simple. When it comes about clothes, when it comes about covering or uncovering, no matter what's happened, you have to be strict. Mochin de katnut, they are basically thinking from the left side. Thinking from the very rigorous side, not considering yourself enough, great enough, big to reveal everything. Be like a kid that we protect from many things. And he said that is the mindset of what we call Mochin de Katnut de Yenika, which is the Meil Katon, which is the Chaluka de Rabanan. So what was said about David? It said like this. When you are on a certain level of your life, you have to know that the purpose for you is to have the Chaluka de Rabanan, which will comfort, which will give to your soul that tsniut it needs. Till there, is it okay?
Rabbi Shalavinkas,
Yes.
I will ask that you come back again. So you take it again, please.
Okay. So the concept here of the tsniut is divided into the spiritual dimension, which concerns your soul, and the physical dimension, which concerns your body. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We will talk about the body, the physical dimension after. When it comes about the soul and someone who is wise, I have to explain to you what are the proper clothing for the soul. The soul doesn't wear pants or dress or coats. So there's a code to understand what are the proper clothing for the soul. That codes are Chaluka de Habanan, meaning the clothing of the tribal chiefs. What is that? We saw in another book that this is the expression of a mindset of you toward nakedness, meaning every time you will act with a rigorous dimension. It doesn't mean that you have to cover yourself with a bag. No. It means always go in the way where modesty will be sure, meaning sure about the behavior. Because we don't have, we saw it in the introduction, when we talk about tsniut, it's not only the way you are dressed, it's also the way you behave. You can be dressed very modest, but your behavior remind us the most vulgar things of earth, on earth. So when we talk about the tsniut of the soul, this also has a name of clothing, but we actually talk about the behavior. So when you see sometime being properly dressed with a lot of modesty, but to see the way they talk, the way they express themselves, the way they interact with the other, the way even they seduce the others, and even sometimes the way husband and wife talks, because we know that our ancestors, our sages teach us it's not proper to a woman to say to his husband, I'm just back from the mikveh. It's not the proper way to talk. You have to have modesty in the way you express things, not to look like someone who is exposing himself. So the modesty of the soul is actually making echo to the behavior. That's why at the introduction I said there are two levels in modesty. The physicality, which will be the halacha, according to what we call the type of glove, the thickness of leggings, all these things. But many movement forget about the Chaluka de Rabanan. So what is Chaluka de Rabanan? It's all the modesty in terms of character traits regarding women. This is telling you the more you will be rigorous with yourself, meaning I don't want to be alone in that situation, have to talk slowly, have to, for example, something we have in Africa. You don't see a woman taking speech in front of men, even if she can, and if she has the skills. Well, there's a modesty that, okay, I will say to maybe my husband or to my father, to my brother, to bring up that idea. And for example, in Baghdad, with the Ben Ishai times, women were not eating with men. It was that mindset that women eat in another room and men in another room. That's mindset have been kept in many movement of Torah. So always to tell you that the tsniut, the modesty of the soul, is called Chaluka de Rabbanan. What is that? This is the modesty in the behavior. You can be dressed like a queen, but if you speak not properly, the dress and the behavior are not connected at all. Is it okay, Rabbi?
Yes, very well, Shipra Pinkas. Today, Rabbi.
Toda Rabba for your question is normal. So now, let's go back in the text. And by the way, for people who don't know or don't connect the dots, if you go and check our the different books we have published, you will see that we have one book that I wrote for the training of the rabbinical judge according to the Nusar Afriki. That book, based on tradition and secret of Torah, Aleph, that book is Meil Katon. What is Meil Katon? Chaluka de Rabbanan. So we know that a judge have to be surrounded and trained from the dimension of Chaluka de Rabbanan, the Meil Katon. That's why here you see what we were saying. The usual posture of the chief rabbi of Africa leads us to question the coherence and the legitimacy of the training of judges of the Quranic judge. Today, this course is structured through the exclusive study of the Choshen Mishpat, fourth section of Arba Turim. Once the smicha of Rabbanut in end, despite a program that seems very busy, we nevertheless remain far from the original standard of what the church of the time of Tanakh were, of which Shmuel was and remains the first emblematic figure, to the point that his disposition placed him above Moshe and Aaron. As the Kadosh explained in Shah Psukim about the incredible precocity of Shmuel Navi, but also the excellency of his Torah in all the function that were his. This strength was due to the Meil Katon, the little codes, which has been made for him. This little code expressed the total mastery, softening, and perfuming of the spirituality of what we call the Mochin de Katnut. Hence, the name chosen for this book. Indeed, the latter were the leaders of the people during the entire period between the death of Yehoshua bin Nun and the enthronement of Shaul's king. The authentic Shofet is therefore the perfect alloy between a political leader, a master of Torah, and a magistrate. The fight we are waiting for the return of normalcy and the development of Nusar Afriki by the demonizing and deconstructing the smoking lies of Catholic missionaries about the missing of purity and holiness in Bantu's traditions also involve more authentic training of our judge, because in Pan-Africanism, the tracing of our tribes has remained intact, and the acceptation devoted to the function of judge is identical to that of the soft team of the time. The image of tribal chief seated under the baobab to judge current affair of the people is not legend. So this book is very huge. It's a very big book, because all the rabbis you have here, they have to have the diploma of judge, but we have to train them according to the deeper secret. So that deeper secret in all these meanings start from what we call Milkaton. Haluka de Rabbanan. So let's go back. It was just bracket. So once you have that, you say, look, basically, the modesty of the soul is given by the nobility of your behavior. ניסי לעזור בהיענות. ודוד המלך השיג באלוהו העין שנה שחיי מה שהשיג אברהם עליו השלום בקעת שנה. So you see basically that level of Meikleton, David המלך achieved it in 70 years. But Abraham needed 170 years. כמו שאמרו רז"ל על הריבון, במיעוט שניו למד תורה מה שלא השיג תלמיד ותיק כמוהו. וכן היה דוד עליו השלום שתיקן המלבוש מניחי בגדים. So I said, now that we know that, we have another point. David, he had to be dressed with what we call also a specific type of clothing. It said, okay, jump a bit. Yeah. So now about that clothing. He said, look, what is written in the Zohar. He said, יש לבושים, you have clothing. אחרים שהם נעשים מן המצוות עשה, שהם רמז. He said, you have clothes that are made from the positive mitzvot you are doing. And they are here to cover the 248 members of organs of your body. I will explain in 2 seconds. So that mitzvot, they are here to cover the 248 members. And when you keep yourself away from the negative mitzvot, lotase, which are 365 gadim, they are basically connected to the 365 days that you keep yourself away from sinning. So now I explain. What does it mean, that small sentence? Akadosh is giving you a big secret here. He said, you have to know that the weakness of some people, men and women, but we are in a women's class, let's say women, of not being able to keep, not to be able to keep modesty in the clothing, it's because they are missing in the list of their actions some positive mitzvot. Meaning you have some people, some women, she knows how important is the tsniut. But sometimes she had that problem not covering the shoulder. Or problem with the length maybe of the the dress. Or sometimes, when she's home, she forget that even in front of the uncle and in front of that, she have to be careful about the things. The secret that Akadosh gives to you is it's simple. If you keep all the positive mitzvot, naturally will come in your mind the desire to cover the organ and the members connected to that mitzvot. So instead of telling to someone, oh, you are not modest, the way you do, the way you dress, just push your sister, your wife, and anybody that you know that she can be that situation, just push her to do more positive mitzvot. The more you accumulate positive mitzvot, the more naturally you will feel the desire to cover that organ and that member. That's it. So what is the position of the Chief Cabinet of Africa? Very simple. Don't make people crazy. Don't make people crazy. Just help people to have more consideration for the positive mitzvot and help them to be away from the negative mitzvot, not to transgress. Why? The day you transgress something, let's say, that day you will see that your tsniut will be very light, your modesty. So the physical modesty works on two legs. You do positive mitzvot, you will give to your soul the desire to cover that part of your body. You don't transgress. All the days you put yourself away from transgression, there are days where you will not be exposed to sin in terms of modesty. But let's say if among 365 days of the year, you sin maybe, let's say, 20 days by transgressing negative mitzvot, you will see that 20 days will be for you very complicated to handle all the dimension of modesty. So this is the key of Arakatosh. This is the position of the Nusra Afriki. Now you understand why some people, they raise their daughter with all the codes, and suddenly, when the daughter will be 12 or 13, she turn. Why? Instead of telling her, is the size of your dress, is the color of your dress, is the thickness of your legging, and you don't teach to her the love of the positive mitzvot, she will turn off because it's not from your speech that the understanding and the desire of modesty will come. This will come from the practice of the positive mitzvot. Do you see the secret?
Yes, Shifra Pincus.
Yes, totally.
Chief
This
Rabbi, I
is
have a question.
Yes.
But at the beginning of the course, you taught us that there are four matriarchs or four women from the other side, and one
Yes.
of them influences a lot in the sinut of a woman. If she's under the influence of that woman, she also will have the desire of not dressing with sinut.
Mhm. So
So
go
there,
go ahead.
so
Go ahead.
it would be like something else. Not only would it be only, or is it also related that she's not keeping the love for the positive mitzvot, and also the influence of the negative woman on that particular woman? Is it too complicated what I'm trying to say?
No, I want just to give you a chance to make it clear for the other. I've understood because this is the conclusion of my mood, but I want you to make it clear for the other. Say names, explain, because maybe people don't understand what are the four letters.
Okay. I don't know which one was the influence for the woman. I don't think Agala. I forgot the name of the influence of that woman. Sorry.
No problem, but you get it. You get the final point, and see how we're gonna land.
Okay.
So it's like this. The British High said in his book that women should be always ready to do repentance about modesty, tsniut. He said this should be something that should be engraved in your heart. So we saw now the pedagogy, how to teach. Don't teach that, oh, don't look, I don't know, don't look at these things on TV, on YouTube. Yes, of course, it's a part of education. But if you want your daughter to be connected to the love of modesty, just teach to her that 248 positive laws. She has to know them, to love them, to appreciate them. From Shabbat to all these things, she has to keep it. That's why you see, we don't say to women, you are not connected to the mitzvot, connected to the time. Now you see the mindset of the Mekubalim. Because when you start to play that game of saying, now, women, you have time inside of you, all the positive mitzvot, you are not obliged. So what will happen? What is happening based on what Ayakadosh is saying? You are removing from some members the light of that mitzvah. That's why you will see even some wives of rabbi, even some wives, some women from great family, you'll see that the tsniut is very strange, or in the behavior, or in the body. You see, how is it so? You are the wife of someone very important. How is it so you have to fight with that thing just because she was taught from her youth that she doesn't have to consider honor, for example? You see? You see how sometimes when you teach and you disconnect Torah and mitzvot from the sword, what you can create? We say to people, don't touch. Just teach the whole Torah. Don't try to select what is good or not, because you are not enough thought to know what is good or not. We just prove now that every time you are disconnecting a woman from a positive mitzvah, you are creating an instability in her physical modesty. You see the point? You see the point?
Yes, with Chief Pinkas.
That's why you can go today in the most religious city of the country of Israel, called Bnei Brak. You know what are the type of women who are desired by the student of yeshiva to marry? They all want that lady with a skirt limits to the knee, a very long, how you call it, wag, how you call it, on dit perruque?
Wig.
Wig,
Veil.
very,
Veil.
very long wig, and with a lot of makeup. And the red thing, you say, how come that this is this is the tendency? How come this is what is I don't understand even. How do you pass from studying the Gemara all the day to ask to the shatranit, the one who make the match, the connection? I want like that. We all see that it's not tsniut. Hold the makeup. It's not tsniut according to the halacha. And you want that skirts, and you want very long heels. I say, sometimes you are in Bnei Brak, because I used to go there many times. Because many factories of tefillin and things, they are there. So I was going there with my first rabbi in Israel, Arav Shlush, Zichron Livracha. I was going there with him. So I said, what does it mean? He's telling me, leave it. We don't know. We don't know what's happening with that generation. If the ladies are not like that, the Bahur Yeshiva, the ones study, they don't want to marry. I said, serious? So where does it come from? Positive means what? Not only it's strange that a student of Torah can ask that type of look-alike, let's say. What is worst is that the families of the ladies will accept. If someone has crazy desires, okay, it's happened. But you parents, you raise the daughter. You don't evaluate what she look like now. If you think I'm lying, go to Bnei Brak, you will see. The one in Israel, am I lying?
No, no.
No, Chief Pinchas. I experience it a lot.
תודה רבה.
Rabenu, I have a question.
Yes.
Rabenu, please. Is it wrong for a lady to fix nails, apply lipsticks, and this nail polish? Is it not in line with our nusak? Toda Rabba Rabenu.
תודה רבה for your question, but I will answer the way I explained. My fear is always to give an answer out of the blue and to say, no, we are not like that. No, we have to understand from where that power of saying no have to come. If someone said to me that, I would say, okay, it's not proper, but did you take time with your daughter, with your wife, with your sister to study halachot, to spend to other positive mitzvot? If this man or this father or this brother said to me no, I will say, so don't be too hard. Go slowly. Instead of telling her, it's not proper, your nails not. No, don't go there. Take time with your sister, with your mom. Mom, it's complicated. You leave the father, do it for the mom. With your sister, with your wife. Open books. Take the book of Rambam. Ilchot. He listed all the halachot. He put the positive and the negative. No explanation. No blah blah. Only laws and what is the meaning of that laws and the way we apply them. Buy this book and take your time to bring that appreciation to her about understanding, knowing, and practicing the positive mitzvot. You will see Rabbi Victor Israel by herself. She will sense that fake nails are not meaningful for me. This is why the Ben Ish Chai was very precise about saying to the ladies, don't take too hard my word. I want to explain to you something. We just have seen 15%, and in the conclusion in 5 minutes, we will see the whole percent. The first part was to understand that no modesty is based on this and that. This aspect for the spirituality, meaning the behavior, and that aspect for the physicality, meaning do your positive mitzvot. Don't joke with that. And now the conclusion. Why is he insisting about saying to the woman, ladies, be ready to practice repentance about modesty? Because we all know. I would not say we know, because people say, how do you know you are not a woman? But let's say we use the word of sages. Wisdom can know, can understand every type of situation. Women, they have a very strong knowledge about the power of their body. Very strong knowledge. They know what that body can generate. That's why many times the aspect of being very light with tsniut or with modesty will happen oftenly. I'll give you a small example. You see the books behind me. Allah said, I cannot be immodest in front of them. I cannot walk without any shirt on me or being uncovered. It's even worse. Said that the words here, all these things, they are alive. So even the words, be careful. Don't be immodest when you are in situation like facing books on the walls. You see how complicated it can be. So sometimes we know that for the woman, it's not easy to handle all these things, and adding the fact that when they are facing the that timing of bleeding, hormones can make that you are hard. It's very hard. Make it so very hard. So Berishai said, woman, you have to be mastering the concept of teshuva, of repentance, when it comes about modesty, tsniut. The question is why? See the secret and the conclusion. Look. There's a book, Shulchan Aruch of Arya Kadosh, Ren Ashua. He talk about the laws of teshuva, laws of repentance. Halacha memhe. Nashim shananot. He said, look, women who study seriously, and they are Batya Bat Paro, meaning they are connected to Batya, the daughter of Paro, the mother-in-law of Moshe. Not only that, ובשאר הנשים שעוסקות שם בתורה ובמצוות. And there are also women there who are studying Torah and mitzvot. But look, based on what Rabbi Shava said, see what is behind you successing to keep your modesty in the physicality and the spirituality. He said, look, ויש ארבע היכלות, you have 4 gates של נשים שאין נכנסים בהם זכרים. There are 4 gates in the spiritual world and the invisible world which are totally reserved to women, that any man or any masculine souls can enter. 4 gates. In the first gate, who is mastering? Batya. ושלוש פעמים ביום, and 3 times a day, משה רבינו עליו השלום, עד חד פרגודה. 3 times a day, Moshe come till the limit of that gate to show his face, to show himself. ושם רואה בתיה, דיוקנה של משה. And from that place, בתיה can see Moshe. What is that code? I'm giving you some hint. This is the secret of the merits of your tsniut. Next halacha. The second gate, who is mastering? Serach. Bat Asher. The daughter of Asher, the same Sarah that announced to Yaakov that Joseph have been killed by animal. The same Sarah that was holding the secret of the one who will be Mashiach. And she knew that the Mashiach have to say one sentence. Pakod Yifkod. Who gave to her that secret? Yosef. The second gate is mastered by Sarah. The third gate is mastered by Yocheved, the genetical mother of Moshe. And the fourth one is mastered by Devorah. And all the women to know how to sing. They "Belifnim mechalot elu," and inside of the inner dimension of that four gates, you have four other gates of the four mothers. Rachel, Leah, Zilpah, and Bilhah. Venikraot banot butchot, and they are called the daughters of a of Botea, with trust, the daughter of trust. This we will dig it next week. We will see the text in the Zohar that explains this. בתיה בת פרעה שני אנשים וכולי. הם רבבות ואלפים. There are a lot of women in the gates of בתיה בת פרעה. רבבות ואלפים נשים שזכו להיות בהיכל בתיה בת פרעה, that had the merit to be in that gate of בתיה בת פרעה, ועוסקות שם בתורה, and they study תורה. ובטעמי המצוות שלא זכו לעסוק בעולם הזה. And also, they are performing their mitzvot that they were not able to perform here. Because maybe we were not kings and so on. They are doing specific mitzvot that they are not able to perform here. In Zohar Kadosh. It said like this, the jump. Jump a bit. The gate of Batya, it's also the gate of Abigail. See? Batya and Abigail. Revavot ve'alafim nashim. There were thousands and thousands women. See the Zohar. Next week, we're going to study this Zohar. It will be the specific limud to see what is the salary of that mitzvah of physical and spiritual tsniut. I had a bit of information because I know that the Echal Tzarach, Gam Hulda, Anavia. So in the gate of Sarah, you have also Hulda, the prophetess. Ibechal Sarach Bat Asher. He said, go and see the Zohar. Yan bezohar kadosh parashat shelach lecha. Be'echal Yocheved. In the gate of Yocheved, Gam Miriam is there. Go and see. ושאר הנשים עודן שירת דבורה. רוצה לומר שדבורה הנביאה עם שאר הנשים הנמצאות בהיכל שלה, הן מודות ומזמרות בשירת דבורה. It's basically all the women who are in that gate, they are champions of singing. Which song? The Shira of Dvorah. I'm telling you, if you thought that the Ben Ish Chai will be so hard, so strong about tsniut because he is a macho man, I don't know what. Oh, Abaniot. Don't fall in that trap. Don't fall in that trap. Our sages are not here to make your life bitter. If you think so, it's because you didn't study enough. Our sages are not here to make your life crazy. If you think so, because you don't study enough. Keep in mind that the purpose for us is not to say what is the tsniut by judging and making people crazy. No. Our purpose is to say to everyone, look, there are deep secrets behind every single thing that are taught in our Torah, behind every single thing that are asked for you in the Torah. When you succeed to go over the words, when you succeed to remove emotions from your reading and your understanding, there are deep things. So let me ask to you, how many people among you, except the rabbis, knew about that gate?
Rabbi, are you talking about the chambers about Batya?
Yeah. Yes.
I read it on the Zohar, but not to understand the deep meaning of it. No, I don't.
תודה רבה. תודה רבה. Yes, Rabbi Nadej.
Hello, good afternoon, Shalom, Chief Rabbi. So I'm very flattered by your lesson, your class. So I'm just so what if you're like really far away from like the Kedusha, like the holiness of Hashem, you feel like you have like lost all these um holiness and you want Hashem to restore your life. How can you what can you do? So for example, like me, I always have the desire to become Jewish and it's been a while and I know that I always desire those things. I always want these things, like being modest. And I think but I feel like I've lost them. And I want to know how can I get get them back. But I'm very sensitive towards modesty and every, all the things that you were saying. I'm very sensitive towards them. But how can I live like that? It's hard in America to keep that.
Well, first of all, the main point is to understand that beside the fact of you moving forward in becoming halachically, rabbinical Jewish, you have to know that you are from an extraction which is already Israelite. One of the biggest cheers of our generation, Rabbi Kanevsky, said about your extraction and my extraction that we facing conversion, we have to be considered like people who have to be converted lechumra, meaning we are not foreigners who try to enter somewhere. No, we are legit because this is our heritage, but we grew up far away from that knowledge. So you being sensitive about all these things is the proof that your soul is connected to that things. And it's the proof that of the holiness of your soul. So now, because you are very sensitive to that question about modesty, it's very simple. Based on what we have said today, you have to give to yourself more and more strength and power about developing and understanding and applying easily that modesty, because sometimes you can be a beginner in the knowledge of Torah. You know your blessing before eating and after eating, but you don't know everything. You don't go to the synagogue, you don't pray. But the first time the rabbi will see you in the first meeting to understand why you want to take on your shoulder the mitzvot of the Torah, sometime we have been trained like that. just by seeing the tsniut, the modesty of the way the person is dressed and the way she's talking. We don't need more to know that this is it. And this will be made properly, but fast. So if you want to achieve that level, here's my advice. If you have the possibility, buy this book and just read it. Read it, read it, read it. Slowly, slowly. Yeah, we found a good edition. Okay. I'm not sure I will find a better one. There it is. Share my screen. Buy this book. This one. A book called Sefer HaMitzvot from Rambam. It's not a book of teaching. It's just a book of listing all the 248 positive mitzvot, laws, and all the 365 negative. Based on what we have seen today, this will help you to go very high and fast in modesty. From the spirituality, behavior, and nobility of the soul to the clothing. Even if you are in America and living in Miami, or Los Angeles, or LA, or Las Vegas, this will not change, will not touch you. Why? Because you are in power. You see, for example, how it is here. You see, Mitzvah 156. It is forbidden to travel empty-handed to Jerusalem for the festival pilgrimage. Mitzvah 165. It's forbidden to go back on U-boat. Mitzvah 159. A priest is forbidden to marry halala. All this, you just read, and by reading them, like say the sages, it's considered like you have done. So you just get this book, Sefer HaMitzvot of Rambam, and read. Be used to read. And based on what we have said today, it will help you. And for the other aspect, talk with Chief Rabbi Zohar. We can handle many things about your conversion. Trust us, we know. We are linked and connected. So talk with Chief Rabbi Zohar and make it formal. And we will see how to help you to move forward in that path, no matter what you will desire. Bezrat Hashem.
Bezrat Hashem, Rabbi. I'm not seeing this book in Amazon. Is it in Amazon?
Yeah, I've searched on Amazon and I find this one, but I think it's not the best.
Mm.
You see, because if I have to advise to you, the best edition for me, I will say this one. The English version, I don't know which one, but me, I have this one. This one is very good. Simple, not expensive, but it's in French. You read French, right?
Oui, bien sûr.
Ah,
Oui,
voilà.
oui, oui.
C'est prends celui-là.
Okay.
It's cheaper, and you will see that it's very well structured. Not it's le livre des commandements par Maïmonide, and everything is inside. I don't know if we have picture. No, we don't put any picture. This is the best. Said to Rabbi Zohar will help you out to have someone. And I know that this version I get it from the Chabad, from the Lubavitch. So this is the best.
Ok, merci, wow, chef.
Zero. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Baruch Olam, Amen ve'amen. Toda rabah to everybody. Is there any question?
Amen, amen.
Toda rabah. For just for information, Rabbanit Imadasa sent some links in the chat about the different books that you can find regarding the Shah Mitzvot. She found one. Let me just show to you. To the Rabbi Imadasa. She found this one. It's in English, I think also. Yes. You see?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
בעזרת השם. תודה רבה לכולם. לילה טוב for the one who are night time. Have a good day for the one in the daytime. Chief Rabbi Zohar will be teaching in the US time. Night time he will teach on Google Meet, right?
Yes, correct.
So please, Chief Rabbi Zohar, please send the Google Meet link in the. You will teach in English?
Yes, and English most of the time. And there's a Jewish Haitian group. For
Yeah.
those who are interested in Creole, I will try to manage.
Okay. So please
Yeah.
put the link of Google Meet in the different group, Chief Cabinet of Africa and the Eliezer program English, not program Eliezer, Eliezer
Yes.
program.
Yes.
Presentation. Like we
Amazing.
can follow if when is it? How many hours will we have to wait? When will be the
The hours difference here?
no. When do you do your limud? At what time do you start?
I was supposed to start already, but I just noticed the class. So
Mm.
I'm gonna start in the next, I would say 30 minutes or so.
Voilà. תודה
Yeah,
רבה. Send the link, next minute we will connect also and we'll follow silently.
no problem. So
Merci.
that
Yes, Rabbanit Nadej.
I would like to know if I want to take the class. Tu vois, you see, I have to address you with vous. I am going to graduate, get my license. I would like to know if I can get like a scholarship. Yeah, how much is it with US money, the class per month?
Ah,
Maybe it's not a good time.
no, uh, it's a good time. Basically, I will it per month it's 100 euro. So in terms of scholarship, we have some people that are ready to pay for the one who will be serious. So I have already two how do you call it? Comment on dit les donateurs?
donors.
Two donors, you say? Okay.
Mhm.
Already 2 or 3 donors who are ready to pay a whole year of study for the people we will see that they are serious. So that's why I said the best way is you go on the Google form, fill the form, and just quote at the end that you're applying for scholarship. After, based on what we have, so for example, today I made 3 meetings in order to convince people to take on their shoulder the year of study. I got already 3. Okay, so I know that I have at least now 3 person that I can say, okay, we saw you, we know you, your year is paid, and here is the man who paid for you, or is the person paid for you, and you will have to think and to connect and to study for also the merit and the success of this person for the whole year. So you
No,
just
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm
you
not a full scholarship. I want to know how much is it with US money? Like, how much is that?
I think let me say currency.
100.
100 euro per
Oh,
month. So 1 second from
I'm
Peru.
not in a place to Google. I mean,
No, I'm doing. Don't worry. Euro to dollar. So it's a $115 USD.
I think I can give like half of that a month. I can do.
This is let's keep it private. Take my number by Rabbi Zohar and let's talk.
Okay, because I really want to take that class. Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, no problem. You're welcome.
Okay,
Amazing.
okay.
תודה רבה, רבי נדיש. Merci beaucoup. Merci
Okay,
beaucoup.
merci.
So, like I told to everybody, don't forget Alpha Nawa Rabbi Zohar will be teaching for the one who have the possibility. It will be good to assist. What is the thematic? We have a topic, a subject.
Well, it's gonna, can you hear me? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be built a little bit in Bereshit.
Mhm.
And then there's a few things that you said here that I want to expound on, so we could just, lock in.
בעזרת השם. תודה רבה. חזק ברוך. בהצלחה רבה. And see you soon.
All right.
לילה טוב. ביי ביי.
תודה רבה.